Hey, what's up you guys? So in this video, I wanted to share with you guys a few habits that I've adopted over the past few years that have allowed me to essentially start to build and grow my net worth over time. Now, I'm not saying that I'm like mega rich or that I'm even a millionaire. That is not what I'm trying to get across to you. But what I am telling you is I was someone who was essentially, yes, I was working and I was making money, but I was not building my net worth over time. So once I started to implement these habits that I'm going to share with you guys in this video, then I begin to see my net worth go up over time. So with that being said, if you're new here to the channel and you're not currently subscribed, find the subscribe button on the bottom right side of your screen. Give that subscribe button a quick tap for me so that way YouTube will notify you each and every time I upload a video just like this one you're watching right now. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into today's video. All right, you guys, so the very first habit that I started implementing in my life that allowed me to start growing and building my wealth over time was that I had to learn and that I began to adopt this habit of living on less than I made, because there's really simply no other way about it. Like, it's virtually impossible to ever think that you were going to grow your net worth or build your net worth, or even build wealth over time if you're just like your income is all in, all out. Like, obviously, like, you went out and you made the money and then you blew it all. So where is there any money like whatsoever for you to ever grow or build your wealth? Or even if at some point, you had some level of like wealth, well, if you're spending all the wealth that you're making, like you're always going to come back to zero, So exactly my point. Like, you got to find a way, regardless of like what your income is, and I get it, like everyone needs like a certain amount of income just to be able to survive, just to be able to take care of like your basic living expenses. So if you're at a point where like your income is really, really low and you're just barely scraping by, first and foremost, you got to get your income up. You got to find some type of way to increase your skill set or whatever that, or take on an additional job or whatever you need to do, but you got to find a way to increase your skill set or your income so your income can go up. So then at that point, you're then able to kind of scale back on your spending, or even if you're not scaling back, because your income is higher, you're still buying things, you're still enjoying life, but you're not quite spending all of your income. And because you're not spending all of your income means you're leaving a cushion of your income available to you, to keep for yourself. And that is, like I said, that is the very first thing. You cannot, like, your income cannot be all in, all out. You gotta find a way to ultimately set aside a portion of the income that you earn. So that was the first habit that I learned to adopt and implement in my life. And because I did this, ultimately down the road, it allowed me to start building and growing my net worth. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the second habit that I adopted. All right, you guys, so my second habit that I adopted was the habit of taking the free and clear cash that I had saved and realizing that I cannot just save cash to just save cash and hope to one day build and grow my, net worth and my wealth. So I realized and I adopted the habit of like saving cash so that I could invest it into assets. And that became the habit that, I adopted and implemented in my life. And at that point is when I really started to see, my wealth start to grow and my net worth go up over time, because now my cash is not just sitting in a bank, virtually earning zero. Now I am controlling and owning some type of asset. And my two favorite asset classes is investing into the stock market, into individual stocks, or investing into real estate. And yes, I do own assets in both of those asset classes. And just to be very clear, I do not invest for the short term in either of asset classes. So I don't do day trading and I don't do, buy and sell flipping with real estate. I buy the real estate to like put a long-term tenant in there. And my idea and my goal and plan is to rent that property out until it's completely paid off. And then the same is true when it comes to stocks. When I invest into stocks, I invest into them. I try to invest into what I believe are a great company or great companies that have a really great future ahead of them, and I hold the stock for the long run. And at some point when I realize this company is no longer looking like the future is so bright, then at that point I will decide to go ahead and get rid of that stock and no longer hold that stock and take the money and go invest it somewhere else that will be a good investment. But like, to the point of what I was trying to make in this second habit is my second habit was to realize, yes, as great as it is to set aside some cash, from your income, but saving money alone is not going to build your net worth or grow you wealth over time. You need to find somewhere to put that money to work for you, and you need to put that, the place that that's going to be is into wealth building type assets. So I looked and I realized, hey, where do wealthy people put their money, to work for them to build wealth for themselves? And I realized really quick, they do it in the stock market, in all forms of different assets within the stock market, and they do it in real estate. And I was like, hey, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I'm trying to build wealth for myself. So if it works for them, I'm going to go ahead and do it too. So that was the second habit that I adopted in my life and started implementing, was to take as much cash that I could, once I've saved it up, and then start investing it into assets that I knew would build wealth for me, like stocks and real estate. All right, you guys. So another habit that I adopted and implemented in my life to grow and build my net worth over time was, when it came to investing, I did not understand investing. Like, I did not understand the stock market. I did not understand real estate. So I did have to, do my research. I did have to take, some time learning about these different asset classes, watching videos, talking to people, ask the questions, figure these things out, and ultimately like do my due diligence to understand how do these things work. And I didn't necessarily do them both at the same time, but like ultimately I figured it out over time, and I was like, hey, this was my like third habit that I adopted. Like, I learned that it would not serve me in any way whatsoever to like invest into something that I simply do not understand. So when it comes to the stock market, if there is like a type of stock or a business or whatever it is, however you want to look at it, because ultimately stocks are businesses, they're not ticker symbols, Like, yes, there is a stock ticker symbol, but that symbol represents a business. So you do not want to invest thinking, oh, I'm going to buy such and such symbol. It's like, no, if you buy that, you are investing into that business. So I learned to think about it like, hey, these are businesses, not just stocks, they're businesses. And I need to understand these type of businesses and what they do, how they make their money, if I'm going to invest into them. So if I do not understand a certain type of investment, I simply won't invest into it, because how can I know how they make their money, when things are going good, when things are going bad? And it's like, if I don't understand it, like I said, I simply just won't be a part of it. Because hey, just because like things like the media and you hear all kinds of noise and people telling you like, oh, this company's doing terrible and their earnings are bad and such, does not mean like you need to sell your investment. You could be in a really great company and the stock could just be having, or that business could just be having, a little bit of a hiccup, and that could provide you with a really great opportunity where you could truly like double down and buy even more of that, that business's stock. And then when it rebounds, you'll have set yourself up to like substantially grow your net worth. But if you don't know what you're invested in, you don't have confidence or conviction into, this stock investment that you made, as soon as you hear some bad news, you're just gonna be like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared to death. And then boom, you just sell your investment, take a loss, or, significantly lose some of the value that you had, and you could have made significantly more money, but you got scared right out of your position because you never knew why you bought in. And you don't even know really anything about the company. You just bought because it was like something that was popular or whatever other people were doing. So to prevent myself from getting caught up in situations like that or being taken advantage of like that, I make sure that I understand the investments that I am invested into, and anything that I put my money behind, I make sure that I understand it very well before I put my money behind it. And like I said, that's true both in stocks, the stock market as a whole, and it's also just as true when it comes to real estate, because I had to do the same. I had to understand like, how does it work? Like, okay, if I buy the property, then like, what do I got to do legally? Like, how does it work when it comes to, putting a tenant in there, like all these different things, and like what's expected of me, what's expected of them, all this kind of stuff. And like, I learned it all, I figured it out, and hey, now it's like, I get it, and that's why I own real estate to this day, because, I figured it out. But that is going to be a really great habit for you guys to look at considering doing, is like, before you do any type of investing, study the type of assets that you're looking at investing into, understand how they work. So then that way you will not get scared out of your investment just because people are saying, oh, this is like a really bad time for real estate or a really bad time for stocks. And it's like a perfect example. It's like right now in the stock market, like the stock market has plummeted a lot. And everything you pretty much hear when it comes to stocks is bad news. Now, if you were invested into a company and you don't know any better, well, they're going to scare you to death and you're going to be right out of your position. But if you were invested into a really great quality company and you know exactly what they do and you're like, hey, this is not a company specific problem, this is just like an economic problem, or this is, just a market problem. So it's not a problem with your company, it's just a problem in the economic society as a whole. So there's no reason for you to sell, your holdings into those stocks, and you would say, hey, while the price is cheap, I'm just going to buy more. So like I said, know what you are invested into before you understand the type of investments that you would like to get into before you invest into them. That's what I meant to say. So these are 3 other habits that I've adopted and that I've just learned to implement into my life. And when I did these things, that is at the point when I started to see my net worth begin to grow and start to build and build over the years that passed. So I hope you guys found this helpful, and that if you guys did, if you guys could just hit the like button, right beneath this video, find that thumbs up button, give that thumbs up button a quick tap for me. And if you're new here to this channel and you're not already currently subscribed, look right here on the bottom right side of the screen, find that subscribe button, give that subscribe button a quick tap for me. And if you guys would like to watch another video from me, you could click this video that pops up here on the screen, and I will catch you guys in that next video. And hey, if you're still here and you would like to, sign up with an investing company, so then that way you could start investing into the stock market, I'll put a link to the investing platform M1 Finance down in the description box below, as well as the pinned comment below. So hey, if you would like to get started with investing into the stock market, like I said, I'll put that link in the pinned comment and as well as in the description box below. It's a really great investing platform where you could invest into the stock market, all the type of things that you want to be involved in, individual stocks, ETFs, index funds, crypto, whatever is your thing, it's there for you to go ahead and invest into. So check out that link in the description box below or the pinned comment, and I will catch you guys in this next video.